Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought of sharing my special event foundation routine, and this is like a very heavy foundation routine, but then I thought it might be useful for a lot of you who don't want to recklessly spend so much. Like if you have to go out, you don't need to call up a professional makeup artist all the time. I understand it's not feasible for many of us. So I feel that this is the best way to look glam, and it's easy, you can recreate it easily, and I hope you all really like it. And if you find it helpful, definitely give me a thumbs up and stay tuned if you want to see how to get this flawless look. So the day I want my makeup to look flawless, I make sure I really hydrate my skin very well. So prior to some big event, I'll usually have a lot of water. Plus, before doing my foundation, I'll make sure I use a very heavy moisturizer or a nice oil. So I'm just using almond oil on my face. Now I usually prefer oils because especially this one, it gets easily absorbed in my skin, and then it doesn't look too greasy. Plus it hydrates really well. I've got dry skin, so if you are oily, you can choose some nice oil-free moisturizer, but make sure that you're really gonna moisturize your skin well, or else your makeup is not gonna look as good as it should. So the next most important thing here that you don't want to skip is the primer. And especially for heavy foundation days, I usually prefer either this primer, which is pore filling, not pore filling, but it gives me a smooth texture. This is by Smashbox. If not, and if I need something which really would tighten up my skin, then it has to be this one. Now you can choose anything that you would like according to your skin type. If you have acne prone oily skin, what you can do is you can opt for something which is oil controlling type of a primer. There are a lot of primers in the market. You just check out whichever is suitable for you. So I'm just dotting the primer in. The one that I chose today is from Guerlain. But you make sure after you moisturize, you wait for some time and then you go in with your primer. Now primer will ensure that your makeup is there the whole day. Plus the finish comes out really nice when you have primed your skin. So before I apply my foundation, I make sure I do color correcting for my under eye circles and a little bit around my lips. You'll get to see that in the video. But what I prefer is this palette. Now if you see all the celebrity makeup artists, all professional makeup artists, they have to have this palette. It's like a holy grail, for so many of them. The reason, because you can mix in a lot of colors, you can custom create your own color, and this can even cover tattoos. Plus you can kind of thin it out according to your choice by using an oil or a moisturizer. So it's a very versatile product altogether. That's why I prefer it. I'm going in with a peachy shade, a little dark peachish orange shade, to cancel out the darkness under my eyes. So I took some on the beauty blender and I'm gonna dab. Now if you have acne, you can go in with a green concealer, which looks like this. Now this is again the same thing. It's from Kryolan, like the palette which I showed you earlier. So you even have these separate pots altogether. So if there's one specific color that you need, and if you don't want to buy the entire palette, you can even go purchase this thing. I'm gonna do the same on the other under eye as well. Always make sure you're using your concealer and color corrector before your foundation. I'm even using the same color concealer to cover up my acne scars that I have, like these blemishes on my face. After we are done color correcting, you can move on and conceal. Now the concealer that I'm using is from Wet n Wild. I am obsessed with this concealer. It is so good, so light in weight and full coverage. So I'm gonna use the concealer in the places where I have color corrected. That's under my eye and over this small blemish. Basically, if you're using color corrector to conceal all the darkness and just to balance all those, you know, uneven skin tone, you can use a lighter shade of concealer as well. But don't go too light. If you can go maybe a shade lighter, that would be preferable. I'm using the same beauty blender and I'm just patting it in. After we're done concealing, let's go in for the foundation. Now I love this foundation. It's by Makeup Forever. It's the HD stick. It is very full coverage, but unfortunately you can't buy it in India. Now I had purchased this while I was in Dubai. I guess you might have seen in my Sephora haul. If you haven't, I'll make sure that I link it down in the description box for you all to check it out. But then this is an amazing foundation. You can use any full coverage foundation that you have or you know you want to use, and or else you can use any foundation that you love. But since it's like a very heavy kind of look, I opted for this one. And now I'm gonna start blending it into my skin. Start building up slowly, just don't land up using too much of foundation or else you'll look really cakey. We want a flawless and a nice looking base. We don't want something really cakey and heavy because that looks too obvious. I'm layering my foundation now wherever I need a little extra coverage, and make sure you kind of blend it into the ear and neck as well, because everything has to look seamless and as one complete color. You don't want to look weird, you know, with a different color neck and a different color face altogether.
Hey guys, sorry for the voiceover, but the thing is that my audio just was so distorted. There was some glitch in my microphone. I don't know. Okay, so what I'm doing here is just I'm layering my base with another foundation, and this is by Giorgio Armani. It's called the Luminous Silk Foundation, and this will give me a very dewy and glowy finish. Now the kind of coverage it provides is light to medium, therefore I'm layering it up on another foundation. Well, you can totally skip this step if you don't want to do it and stop in the previous step altogether, or else you can be a little extra like me and do it. Okay, this foundation, there are celebs who swear by it, including Kim Kardashian, but it is absolutely not necessary to use the same foundation. So what you can do is you can choose whatever you want. There are endless options in the market.
Now again I'm going in with the same concealer just to kind of highlight my under eyes a little bit. So kind of create this inverted triangle over here. Now once we are done with all the liquids and creams, it's time to lock in everything into place and set it with powder. This is the most crucial step, so make sure you don't miss it. So I'm just gonna dampen my beauty blender again with a little bit of primer water. And then I am going to use this powder by Laura Mercier. Now this is again a very finely milled, very good powder. There are a lot to choose from Kryolan. There are so many brands that kind of offer such type of powders, so you can choose whatever you want. I'm slightly gonna start packing it in under the eyes. You might have seen a lot of people on Instagram and everywhere on the net doing this baking technique. They kind of let the powder sit under the eyes for a long period of time, and then it kind of just absorbs the oil and makes it look very photoshopped. But I don't like doing it because it just makes my under eyes very dry. So instead of that, I'm just packing it in with the damn beauty blender. So usually I set my T-zone with this powder, and then I use another powder to set the rest of my face. Now I'm using my favorite MAC Studio Fix Plus, and I'm gonna set the rest of my face. Once we are done with setting the face, I'm gonna switch and move on to highlighting and contouring, just to complete the whole look. Just a little bit of contouring made so much of a difference on my face. After the contouring, I'm just gonna make it pop a little bit, so I'm gonna use the powder and bake under my cheekbones. Once we're done with the highlighting and contouring, we can go in and add some blush. I would go a little more heavier with the blush than usual, but not too much that you'll end up looking clowny. And make sure you blend your blush really well. That's an important key for not looking clowny and weird. So I'm just gonna use the beauty blender that we used for our foundation and just kind of blend the edges off. I'm gonna pop in some highlight on my cheek and I'm gonna use a beauty blender for that. You can even use a fan brush. Any teeny tiny brush would do for this thing, but I prefer the beauty blender. Now, I usually don't like to highlight my face so much because I got a little texture issues, but then sometimes I do. And this is an amazing highlighter, to be honest. It's by Becca and it's called Champagne Pop. A little bit on the tip of my nose. Let's add on some lipstick. Now the one that I'm using is by Anastasia. It's a liquid lipstick and it is called American Doll. It's my favorite red. And to lock everything in place and so that all your hard work doesn't go anywhere, I'm going to use a setting spray. Now mine is really dirty, but it's the All Nighter by Urban Decay, and this just will help your makeup last the entire time. Please make sure you do this before applying your mascara or you'll end up smudging it everywhere possible. So guys, this is the final look of the foundation and this is the routine that I do normally when I have to go out on special events or anything important like that. I hope you all found this video really helpful, and if you did, definitely give me a thumbs up, like my video, subscribe to my channel and share. I'll see you soon next time.
Give it all for my city.